News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Welcome to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning.
And I'm Alan Gilbreth with darkoakmedia.com.
Yeah.
And I'm Maximilian, wishing you a belated World Oceans Day, even though I trashed my voice after my recent shouting match with a beluga whale.
So this is how it's going to be today. Okay, so Max ruined his voice. We don't know what's going on with him. So do I have this right, Alan? He's going to be communicating with us via text-to-speech keyboard or using selective hotkeys. Is that right?
Well, I was getting a lot of finger signs from him earlier, so I don't know.
I'll tell you, that voice you chose, Max, sounds very professional, so well done. So what is this? You got into it. What is today? I already lost track of what day it was. So it's
you know what? It's going to be a whale of a show.
Okay, so we're going to celebrate whales. So, okay, well, if you've got anything to say, or if you want to text in and have a text off with Max today, this is going to be very interesting, Alan. So, hey, does that mean we're going to get away with a lot more? No, it's going to be hard for him to kind of...
No,
okay.
He still has all the buttons. So.
All right, well, if you want to get in on the action, you can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And once the signal gets connected again, Alan, I don't know what's wrong with the signal, you can watch the show on the Royal Retreat studio cams if you go over to the News Talk 98.9 The Roar Facebook page. At the moment, though, the light's green, which means...
I believe we're going to say we're having the Wi-Fi thing.
Okay.
So,
it's weird that...
they're there.
It's weird that the lights are green, and that means they're off, and then red, it means they're on. Go figure.
Red means warning.
Okay. And then we also invite you to go over to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page for several reasons, Alan, because we've already made 3 posts this morning. I posted our must-have item of the week. Astute listeners or astute viewers will notice, I think I did this one about a year ago, but we're revisiting this particular one because it's going to open a deeper discussion about the importance of sharp tools, right?
Yes.
So, Alan, I cannot wait for this in our... Now, you brought us this, Alan. I have a much more sophisticated sensibilities than you do. You're immature. You're always going for the toilet jokes and everything, and I have to always rein you in. But this one... And I almost said that with a straight face. But Alan,
you almost made it through that. I'm proud of you.
In our great moments in building history, this is basically a pretty new construction. It's the W Hotel in Edinburgh.
Yes.
Okay, whoop-de-doo. Well, that doesn't really mean much to anybody until you go to our Facebook page and check out the image that we posted up there. This thing...
It suffers
It
from...
looks like something else, Alan.
Well, we're going to get into the topic of pareidolia.
Okay.
And pareidolia is basically when you go look at clouds and you see bunny rabbits and crocodiles and flying things. The human mind loves to see patterns.
Okay.
And that might be a little problem for a hotel in Edinburgh.
Unfortunately, everybody's seeing the same thing on this one. So, okay. And then also... Do you have something, Max? Okay, go ahead.
He's waving a tentacle.
Leave it to Scotland to take a literal number 2 on their skyline.
Okay. Okay. Well, spoiler, Max. Okay, so all right. This is going to be a long day, Alan, but I do like that voice you've chosen. Okay, so great moments in building history. This is going to be interesting because it does look like something else. It's an interesting construction otherwise.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing until you get it done.
For our must-have item of the week, I mentioned that. We've already got that up. Alan, this conversation I cannot wait to get to. This is happening out in Georgetown. This is an ongoing story. It's been going on for the last 2 years. And it has to do with, I'm not going to over-tease it, but it has to do with what constitutes appropriate yard art. Is that right? I mean, this isn't, they don't have yards out there, but what is this?
This is going to be more about know the rules of the neighborhood before you spend a lot of money. We're going to pick on HOAs. We're going to pick on zoning ordinances.
Yeah.
And free-thinking creativity.
Yeah. And if you're a geek fan, you are going to want to tune into this story.
This is going to get seriously geeky.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got quite a bit to get to. I'm not going to over-tease. Alan, we got to get to your weekend review, though, because we missed a couple. We've missed a few. And anyway, we're going to get to more, and it'll slowly unfold as the story emerges. But I do have to say, Alan, I can't believe that I've gotten 3 weeks out of this, but I do have one final pallet update.
Oh, so do I. Go ahead.
Okay, good. So so folks, if you're new to Tool Talk Radio, or maybe if you missed the last two exciting installments of this drama, okay, I basically, Alan, I told
Pallet snobbery.
Exactly. I get pallets, that's the thing. And just to recap, over the last 3 weeks, I've gotten 3 pallets. 2 of them, and I'm sure everybody knows what a pallet is, but basically the strips on the top on most pallets are about 3.5 inches, roughly.
Right.
And then there are some that are 2-inch strips. So when we're talking about 2-inch versus 3.5 inch, that's what we're talking about. Well, I told you that I had a 3-inch strip pallet, put it out there. It disappeared pretty quick. I live on a busy street, folks, so if I put something at the curb, it could literally be gone in 20 minutes. At worst, if I put a pallet out, it's gone by the next day. Okay.
Right.
Well, true to form, I put a 3.5 inch out there. It alongside a 2-inch pallet. They took the 3.5 inch one. They didn't take the 2-inch one.
Right.
It sat for days and days. I eventually brought it back into my garage, whatever. I told you that. Well, then I put out a broken, busted in half 3.5 inch pallet, and that one got taken.
Okay.
The other day, my garage was starting to get too crowded, Alan, and I'm like, I don't want to fool with this pallet. So I put the 2-inch pallet back out on the street. I came out. Somebody flipped it over as though they were inspecting it once again, and they didn't take it. And it sat, and I'm ashamed to say, I think the garbage men finally threw it out. So, Alan, there's a clear problem with 2-inch pallets, and I'd like to know what it is.
There's some pallet snobbery going on.
Yeah.
Idiot.
That's your okay. Max is gonna be okay. What are we gonna do here?
Well,
Alan, what is the problem? What is wrong with 2-inch pallets, and what is this biased? I think they're nice. They're just as strong.
Well, they are, but they're not instant ready. They're not hot instant table kind of things.
Is that the beef?
There's going to be some
You can't put
work.
your drink on top of it.
You just it looks too much like a construction pallet.
I love the notion that a DIY person that wants to take a pallet and build something says it's too much work to do it.
Yes.
There's a weird dichotomy going on. I really am concerned about this bias, though, against
That's
the
okay.
2-inch
I got
pallet.
a phone call from a friend of mine this week that their facility had just had something really cool delivered.
Okay.
And that they really wanted that pallet.
Oh, so they're already eyeing.
Oh yeah. I had to, leave where I was, go drive by, throw the pallet in the back of my truck, and I got to admit, it was a really cool pallet.
How big are the strips?
This one right here actually was a solid face.
Oh, you can, okay. Well, the solid face are like the elite ones.
Yeah.
So, all right. Hey, if you've got any thoughts about what's up with the pallet world, get in touch with us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline, 901-683-0989. Alan, I can't wait to discuss this. We're going to get to, never mind. We're coming back.
All right.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allen.
Sorry about the mess. I've really let the place go since you killed me. By the way, thanks for that.
Sarcasm self-test complete.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Was that a real rejoiner, or is that Max's robotic voice again? He's changing things up on us.
I'm going to warn Max that I am an aficionado of Douglas Adams.
Yeah.
And I can nip off down to the server room with an axe and rearrange your attitude.
Okay. All right. Now, whatever all that means. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I mean, I like Douglas Adams too, but I missed that reference. So, I'm Joe Thorderson here with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Alan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass, who lost his voice and is communicating to us today via voice-to-text message.
Who let the lemon head into the room? You are a waste of life, and you should give up.
And
well, at least
and
he left us-
strategically placed hotkeys, so this is going to be a weird show. I don't know. And one of his faults is he just loves pushing buttons, so he likes to interrupt at the wrong moment and everything. But
well, at least he left the squid gun at home this time.
Yeah.
So they're leaving the little sticky tentacle marks on the glass.
So if you want to communicate with us today, you can get in touch with us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And if you call in, I hope you're not going to imagine that, Alan. What if they call in using voice to text
it's
communication,
just,
communicating with Max using. I mean, it's gonna be ugly. Once we get the signal ready, Alan, they can watch the show at the Royal Retreat Studio Cam over at the News Talk 98.9 The Roar Facebook page. There's some weird Wi-Fi issue going on, so right at the moment the cameras aren't on. However, we also encourage you to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and check out the action over there. And interact with us there. We've made a few posts, and they're very interesting. So, Alan, we're going to get to this story. I don't even know how to categorize it, but it's going to be a good one.
Oh my!
This armor's useless. Why do we even wear it?
Oh, you stink!
This is the worst.
I don't know if that's appropriate because I love this guy. Whoever this, whatever motivation this man had, this is one of the greatest stories I've seen in a long time, Alan.
It fits into a Dragon Con story I have too. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some mileage out of this.
Yeah.
So, folks, here's the deal. Alan, can I just read this?
Go for it.
Opening sentence because this article says it all. So, folks, it says okay. I don't know if I have to set this up. I'm just going to read it, and then we'll set it up.
Yeah, just go for it.
Where the Decepticons failed to defeat Optimus Prime and the Autobots, an obscure federal board may well have succeeded. The old Georgetown board unanimously voted Thursday to deny Georgetown University's neuroscientists' request to keep a pair of massive Transformers sculptures posted outside his historic row house in the neighborhood. So, Alan, this guy, this is a nice place. This is almost a $4 million. I guess it's in that historic district in Georgetown. I've never been there. I've seen it on TV and everything. But he's got a giant statue of Bumblebee, which I'm sure a lot of people know who that is, and another statue of Optimus Prime. That he made out of recycled car parts. But they look good. These are good-looking statues.
Well,
They're about
to
10
be
feet
honest,
tall.
there are 3 of them.
Well,
He's got one on the roof.
Well, I was going to say what happened was he had one statue of Optimus Prime that wasn't big enough for him, so he upgraded to a bigger version, and then he put the other one on the roof so it could guard the neighborhood. Yeah. And the HOA is really mad about this.
You think anybody wants a roundhouse kick to the face while I'm wearing these bad boys?
I don't know what that... Max, I think you turned the volume down. Okay. Anyway, I don't even know how to react to that one. So, Alan, this really gets into an interesting discussion because these are good-looking statues. They're properly mounted. They're basically in a spot where you would normally have, like, flower boxes. There's other people that have, I guess, pieces of art in these areas. And so the question is, the HOA is saying, no, you have to take this down. This is a historic district. You're defacing the neighborhood, but a lot of people in the neighborhood love them. They said the students across the street think these are great. They think it's actually of great cultural importance to have 2 Transformer statues out front. So I think this opens up an interesting discussion.
Well, it is actually a much larger idea here than just a statue.
Okay.
All right. Well, one, these things are not small.
Oh,
they're
big.
Huge.
And they look good.
They look amazing. Their feet, however, do stick out quite considerably into the sidewalk or walking area. They're massive, and here's the real crux of the problem. Yeah. He lives in the historic district.
When you're talking about the wine and cheese crowd that this is the premier place to live in Georgetown, right?
And they have a public spaces committee as to what you can do and what you can't do in the historic district.
Yeah, but okay, go ahead, because there's a few things. It's not as cut and dry as that. So they gave him a 6-month permit. He sort of ignored it and kept him up there. But his argument, I think, was along the lines of, well, why is everybody else's art okay, but my art isn't? Because it's a giant, in other words, it's a bias against geeks. And apparently people love this. They're constantly coming by and doing photo ops, which is what I think at the nature of their problem is you're getting all these rubes from out of that don't belong in our neighborhood, driving in and taking pictures. And I think that's what it's more about. They're trying to keep the riffraff out.
Yes. Well, I don't think it's keeping the riffraff out as so much as the traffic pattern is that they're in a place outside of a home, not designed for tourist traffic. Yeah. So here's all these people wanting to come by and take selfies, and there's all these people taking pictures of his house. And, admittedly, the dude does not live in a little tiny townhouse.
Right.
I mean, this is a $3-point-something million building, and these things are absolutely massive. And the people that also paid this kind of money to live in this neighborhood aren't thrilled with having, people out there doing, tourist drive-bys and the selfies with all this. So here's kind of the kicker. It's kind of like, all right, if he had done this in a different neighborhood.
Yeah.
A neighborhood that actually didn't care about the traffic or would have welcomed the traffic.
Right.
He would be an absolute shining hero.
Yeah.
But this is where you gotta ask questions because if you've got a zoning board or an HOA or something like that, somebody else can tell you what you can and can't do with your property.
But apparently, from what I've researched, Alan, I don't know if they in the bylaws they were super specific about giant statues made out of recycled car parts. Maybe they should have thrown that in there somewhere. But the problem is, you're saying a board and an HOA committee. These are 3 people. There's a 3-person committee, and all of them voted against the guy. But it sounds more like I don't know. That doesn't sound very democratic to me. It sounds more like it's a few people that don't like this guy. So
it's also been going on for a couple of years between him and the neighborhood itself.
Right.
Yes, there are some people in the neighborhood that do kind of think it's funny. There are a lot of tourists, going by. But he doesn't have a permit for this, and this is a very expensive neighborhood. And when you pay $3 million for a house, you don't necessarily want to trip over Optimus Prime on the way back from the grocery store.
What's funny about this too, Alan, is I posted a news story about it, and as you might imagine, it's like there's puns flying everywhere.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like he's going to have to roll out pretty soon and all this stuff. But I don't know. I don't think it's cut and dry. I think it's because it opens up a lot of questions about what constitutes art. If you're talking about geek art, this is very well made. It's very well produced. It's high quality.
When we come back, we'll talk about fighting with HOAs.
Right.
It is legendary, and there are a lot of lawsuits going on right now.
I see both sides. I mean, obviously my inclination is to side with this guy 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I do see both sides, but I don't know. I don't want to just shut this whole thing down. I feel like, we're us geeks, Alan, are finally getting accepted into mainstream, and so is this going to hurt our cause, or is this going to I don't know,
depends
help
on
the cause?
how you pitch it.
All right, we'll continue the conversation, and we got a whole lot more coming at you here on Tool Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allen.
All you gotta do is let us disassemble you. We're not banging rocks together here. We know how to put a man back together. So that's a complete reassembly. New vitals, spit shine on the old ones. Frankly, you ought to be paying us.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
I used to offer those services, Alan, but my insurance company they jacked up the rates so high, it's just not worth it anymore.
Hey, when it says Sawzall.
Oh, yeah. It'll saw all. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Alan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. I just have to mention that Max's voice has gone out, and he's not letting it stop him, Alan. He's going to be interacting with us today via voice to text, text to voice technology, whatever that's going to be, and various hot keys that he might push to express his feelings. So if the show sounds weird, blame Max. I don't know what might happen.
We usually do.
Yeah, but if you want to do it, you can get in touch with us in the traditional way at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. You can even send us pictures, like our buddy Danny did last week. If Danny has a fault, though, it feels like he sends these pictures like right as we're going off the air or late in the show. But he was working on some electrical project and also listening to the show, which is we always salute. So, as a matter of fact, Alan, if people are listening to the show at their place of business, you have a special perk for them.
Actually, they do. They can get a swag bag if they've got us on the air and they let us know about it.
Yeah. Okay. Let us know. You can always call me directly if you want. Just call 901-921-7105 or send us a message at the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. That'll work as well. So now, once we get our connection issues, Alan, working for the cameras, we invite everybody to go to the Royal Retreat Studio Cam on the News Talk 98, the Roar Facebook page, and watch the show. You can do that.
Oh, yeah.
And then after you do that, jump over to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and check out the action over there and all of the fun posts that we've already made, including our great moments in building history, which I can't wait to get to. You're
just dying to get there, I know.
There's a definite vibe. But if you're just tuning in, before the break, we were discussing a story of I should feel one way about it, but I have to admit, I see both sides on this. But basically, this neurosurgeon, this is a nice place. He lives in the historic district in Georgetown, right by the university, which I guess is the hoity-toity, just the upper crust. It's almost a $4 million, whatever you call it.
Yeah, $3.75 million townhouse.
Right.
Now, this is not this is not student housing.
Well, everybody likes to express themselves through their art or decoration. So he expressed himself by putting two 10-foot tall statues of Transformers characters, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, and he has a third Optimus Prime statue up on the roof, kind of keeping guard over the neighborhood. So the neighbors don't like it, Alan. And the HOA is basically telling you got to take this thing down and whatever. But it's not true to say all the neighbors don't like it. A lot of the neighbors think it's pretty cool, and the tourists are coming by in droves, and it's turning into a big battle. We know a little something about this in our town.
Yeah, well, all right.
We've seen neighbors like this,
Well, in our town right here, we have two suburbs that drastically restrict the type of billboard or signage you can put on a building.
Sure.
So if you're one block down the street, you can have a 40-foot tall, 40-foot across billboard hanging over your parking lot. But you cross that city line into the next suburb, and you're going to have a nice small sign, less than 10 feet tall, less than 10 feet wide, and it cannot be certain colors. And, so it's kind of a cautionary tale of permitting and asking questions.
Yeah.
Now, do certain community groups and HOAs go too far? That's been legendary.
That's what I remember. I was watching This Old House once, Alan, and they had a project they were doing in Nantucket Island, and you talk about a bunch of, oh my gosh, they had people like screaming and getting all upset about what color they were going to paint their shutters. Like, no, it has to, they are hardcore out there. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, the state of Maine has even the appearance of your building, and basically, Maine just said, look, if you want to save seeds from something you grew in your yard, even though you went and bought it at XYZ store, you have that right.
Okay.
Which really upsets a couple of agricultural companies. Also the fact that if you want to grow something that actually has more than just flowers, you can do this in your front yard.
Okay.
Or, so this is a big pushback against what a lot of people have called HOAs and zoning laws that create, as they call it, the grass deserts.
Okay. All right. What do you got, Max?
Not to sound random, but the doctor should put an annoying alarm system inside his beloved Autobots that sound like they're screaming, just in case someone tries to remove the statues.
All right, that's a good one, Max. I like
Considering
that. So,
what
all right, Alan, I feel like you've drifted into the weed. I gotta ask you
we're
about this.
in the weeds here with this because this is a weedy topic in what constitutes what you can do with your property. You bought it, you paid for it, but you also agree if you buy things in a historic district,
right,
or with an HOA to follow certain rules.
Well, that was my question because my biggest thing, I guess. I sympathize with both sides. On the one hand, if you lived in that neighborhood, do you want all this extra foot traffic? Do you want all these people stopping and taking? I don't know, whatever. But the other question is these are not, these could be removed. It's not like he had to rebuild the front of his house to, he had to anchor them in. But in other words, he could take them down and the house would still look the same as it did before. It would still maintain its historic look. So my question is, by having these two giant statues in front of his house, did he lower the property value of like his next door neighbor's house? That's sort of my question. Is like, if you lived next door to Prince Mongo, did it lower the property rates? Now that art. I know art is subjective, but that one is a little,
art? Yeah. Dude, what is art?
But this is these are
you
very
used
well
to have
made.
A car in your front yard, dude. See,
but these are
I knew
very
we were
well
going to go
made
there with
pieces
this.
of art. No, the reason I'm asking is I really don't have an answer. I think if it made the neighborhood dangerous, or if it made the neighborhood like unusually high traffic that it didn't have before, I kind of would see the side of the neighbors, but. I also like people to express themselves, so I don't know.
Let me phrase it this way. As a homeowner, if I paid $3 million for a townhouse, and I got to get Snicker wrappers out of my front yard every day from tourists looking at your robots,
okay, that's
you and I going to fight.
Yeah.
Now,
we're assuming people do that. We don't know.
Trust me, tourists are nasty.
Okay.
Ask anybody that lives in a tourist city like New Orleans.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
Here's the thing. We'll pick on the French Quarter for 1 second. The French Quarter is a neighborhood. It's not Disneyland. People live there.
Right.
It's not a theme park.
Yeah.
So when people get arrested for public urination going wee-wee in your flower beds, people look shocked and surprised because for some reason they don't get the fact that that's somebody's house.
Right.
It's not a tourist attraction. He lives here, but now he's made his house a tourist attraction. And the fact that he put a couple of giant transformers out there that you and I happen to like.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I agree with him. Yeah, that's really cool and it's fun. However, if I were him personally, I would find some place nearby that wants them.
Well, it's
where
funny you
everybody
mention
can
that.
enjoy them.
Well, there is somebody else said that too. They said what they're trying to do is encourage them not to get rid of them because they're very well made sculptures.
They're
Somebody
awesome.
some artist made these, and move them somewhere else where they could be displayed. They could have a plaque on the bottom donated by Dr. Whatever.
Well, you got that university right there. Those things would be freaking awesome in the Commons or something. They would be amazing.
Here's the flip side of this, Alan. Now, I don't know what's going on in this neighborhood. However, I don't know if there's coffee shops. I don't know if there's businesses that might actually benefit from having this here. Because what if on the flip side, we're talking about an HOA system. Well, okay, let's suppose there's 50 people in this board. What if 35 of them said, we actually like these statues. They enrich the neighborhood. Does that... You know what I mean? It seems like it's sort of a mob rules mentality.
Well, that's kind of a permitting process. And that's where a lot of people get upset with the zoning ordinances and laws and stuff about these things. They're there for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, is the reason still valid?
That's the thing.
That's kind of a big thing.
It's very subjective.
The HOA that psychotically comes out and measures the height of your grass and tells you can't have a hanging basket in your window they exist.
Oh, I know.
Too far!
Okay, next. He just wants to be a part of the conversation.
I know.
Thanks,
Bless
Max.
his heart. I respect this guy's taste.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious, but I think he also has to consider the street and the neighborhood.
Yeah. I think this is an ongoing discussion, and I'm a little surprised that Agent 732 hasn't weighed in on this, or some of our...
we actually are going to encourage people to call us today because we want to hear about your pallets.
And also,
are you doing stuff with pallets? And do you have an opinion on this?
And have you ever run into trouble with an HOA? And where do you fall on this? Get in touch with us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline, 901-683-0989. We have a lot of other things we're going to get to, though, Alan, and we're going to do that when we come back here on Tool Talk Radio.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Alan.
What is the most inspiring thing I ever said to you? Don't be an idiot. Changed my life. Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
It's always important to pass on wisdom to the next generation, Alan. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. You're with my buddy Alan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And once we fix our connection issues, you can watch the show at the Royal Retreat Studio Cam on the News Talk 98.9, the Roar Facebook page. After you've visited that Facebook page, visit our Facebook page at Tool Talk Radio. And check out the posts we've made there. And also share your feelings. You know, we put this out there, Alan. I expected a few of our regular listeners to chime in on this big discussion we're having about the Transformers statues being placed in this neighborhood. I also want to let people know if you're just waking up and the show might sound a little different today because Max has laryngitis or something. And so he's going to be interacting with us via text-to-voice technology or pushing various hotkeys to communicate with us.
He has cetacean invoked silence.
Okay.
You suck!
Okay, thanks, Max. So just expect random, antagonistic post, whatever. Hey, Alan, in a minute we're going to return. Well, actually, we've got quite a bit to get to. We're going to dive into some more of our conversation. Before we do, though, I just want to say, if you've got any HVAC needs, if you've got any issues with clean air technology, get in touch with the good people at Brown Refrigeration. They are our go-to company. We recommend nobody else. He is Larry Brown. We have him on speed dial. Your HVAC company it's a relationship. It is not just thanks for this new unit and I'll see you in 20 years when I need another one. Now, this is something you stay in regular contact because it's just like your car. You need your HVAC system running at peak efficiency, so it requires maintenance. It requires, not a lot of maintenance. I don't want to scare anybody, but, if it's running properly, it basically pays for itself.
Well, and this is one of those items that, let's just be honest, it is a high-tech tool. It is very, it is, as you have noticed, it is a very balanced system.
It is.
And if you give it a little bit of love and care, it takes care of you because, let's face it, you can't live in the Mid-South really without AC.
Well, think about it, too. And it did surprise me. I never knew this till we met Larry Brown. When he told us that here in the Mid-South, in a summer day, it can remove 30 to 40 gallons of water a day.
Up to 50 or 60, yes.
From your air in your home.
In the home,
That just blows my mind. So what if it wasn't doing that properly? You talk about issue.
Yeah.
We're always talking about water as the enemy. So you need a system running at peak efficiency, and that's why you also have a reputable company that stands behind their work, because you can't have once Chuck and his truck comes in and tinkers around your system, that voids the warranty.
Yeah.
Let's keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
The great thing about Brown Refrigeration, too, is that they're always up on the latest technology, and one of the ones that really over the years has come to the forefront is the Remy Halo system with the cleaning UV power of the sun to not only clean the air, but it creates cleaning particulates that clean every bit of every surface that that these particulates land on. It's just really impressive technology, and they are just the best. We love them. That's why we've been with Brown Refrigeration all these years. You can get in touch with them. Call them directly at 901-362-1881, or go to their very easy to remember website, brownref.com. Alan, I feel like we don't want to make the whole show about this as much as I'd like to, because this is a pretty fun topic. But let's just close out our discussion with, we're closing out our comments about this doctor, a very successful neurosurgeon that put up these two giant statues of Optimus Prime and Bumblebee in front of his house.
Yep.
Very tastefully these are good-looking statues. They're very well made. He made them out of recycled car parts. You said it costs about, what, $25,000
Yeah, they're like
piece?
$25,000 a piece. They were made in Taiwan. So, all right, add to that the shipping, the installation, everything. So, I mean, these are...
Securing them as well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are not cheap, cheesy, plasticky looking things. These things look awesome.
They do.
They are amazing. So, are they art? Probably.
They're art. There's no question about that.
Art, but they're not historic art for your Georgetown historic neighborhood.
Right. Yeah. So,
welcome to freedom of choice versus I wanted to live in the posh historic neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know where I fall because I could see both sides on this, although my bias is towards this guy. So we'll see. If you want to weigh in on this, go over to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. I linked a really succinct, a very nice news report about this. It's about 2 minutes long, and you can get up to speed on this and then call in or text us and let us know your thoughts. So that's what I think about that, Alan. So, but it's time to shift gears. Let's get to our must-have item of the week. So, Alan, this one, if people have been listening for a while, or if people have been paying attention on our Facebook, they'll know that we've done this one before, but we're revisiting it for various reasons. But tell people what I'm holding up.
You are holding a boring bit.
Yeah, it's technically called a Forstner bit. It's a drill bit, basically, but it does not look like, I'm looking at it head on, Alan, it almost looks like the Superman S, or something. This is a very, very precise cutting bit. You'd have to, I think, folks, if you don't know what it is, I don't know if I can describe it well enough other than
it
go
is
to Google and
designed
look it
to
up.
bore a hole. Now, there's a difference between a drill bit drilling a hole and a Forster bit actually shaving away the material, because you could actually drop this into a certain depth.
Right. Yeah, this is a very precise instrument. So, did you have something, Max?
Nope. Okay.
Someone should drive a boring bit through your mics.
Okay, thanks, Mac. He just, your timing's, it's weird. There's this weird delay, like when, people are talking to somebody overseas on the TV or something.
It's kind of like when he talks normally. He has a thought, then it has process,
fix it in
and
post,
then it comes
Max.
out,
Okay, but here's the thing, Alan. There is a difference between, we've talked about this. Let's suppose you're running electrical wire through a 2x4 stud that's going to go inside a wall. Nobody's going to see it. This is strictly for the point of making a hole. You can just grab like a spade bit or some other bit because it's going to blow it out on the other side.
It's not going to make a beautiful, precise
clean hole.
Right.
This is the drill bit you grab when maybe you're doing something. That hole needs to be perfectly clean, no blowout, it's got to be a very well done cut. Maybe you're making a fine piece of furniture and you don't want, that's what you grab with this. The reason I wanted to bring this in though, Alan, I'm sitting here looking at it and there is quite a bit of cutting surface, as you see.
Yes.
Every edge, it's kind of just look it up, folks, if you want to see, but it is a flat bit on the top. Every bit of it it's pretty much razor sharp.
Yes.
However, Alan, this bit is completely useless if it gets even the slightest bit dull. I might even say it's dangerous. And isn't that something, how precise, how it's a very thin line between safety and effectiveness and danger and bad quality.
Let's go to the home kitchen. You knew I was going to go there, because we always say the safest knife in the drawer is the sharpest one.
Oh yeah, and that's true with all tools. Every tool,
exactly,
I would say,
because it's not going to drag. It's not going to skip. It's gonna hold and do its job better if it's being properly used.
Right. Yeah, I think all these tools, I think you could say that's a rule of thumb, too. I'm thinking of even things as simple as like a box cutter or a razor knife. You get that thing a little dull, then it starts flying around. It doesn't grab. It doesn't cut.
Then you're
pulling harder than it should.
Yeah,
but
and that's when you're going to get nipped.
But even saws, there's get yourself the saw blade when don't just. If you accidentally cut through some nails on your miter saw, don't just keep that same blade because
Yeah, that nick will come back to haunt you later. I promise you.
But this Forstner bit it's a little more expensive. I would say when you're looking at the boring bit section, you're going to see this is probably an extra $10, but it is when you want a
It
very
does
clean,
such a
precise
beautiful
hole.
job.
But treat it well, and it'll treat you well. Because the thing is, Alan, I would not use this on just anything. I have very specific applications for this because I keep it, and I also keep it in its plastic holding case.
Yes.
Because if you drop it, the corner can chip.
Don't chip those edges.
No, it's a great tool though. It's because it's always good to have a variety of tools, and it'll make you want to drill some holes. What the heck? And so it's a great tool. The Forstner boring bit. Well, Alan, I don't know where the first hour went, and I hope people are going to chime in later about this transformer discussion because
I want to hear pallet stories.
Absolutely. But hour 1 is in the can, but stay tuned. We're coming at you with hour 2 of Tool Talk Radio.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Alan.
And welcome to hour 2 of Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Alan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And we also invite you once I hate to keep saying this, Alan, but we do want to say our studio cams are provided by the Royal Retreat studio cams over at the News Talk 98.9, the Roar Facebook page, but there's a signal issue right now. So you could normally watch us on that, but once the signal is corrected, then we'll let you know. So also we invite you to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, check out all the action over there. And also, Alan, if they miss any of Tool Talk Radio, there's probably many ways they can, listen, right?
Absolutely.
So, to past episodes.
The best way is to just go over to tooltalkradio.com, and you can follow along with us for, honestly, Joe, years of content.
Yeah.
We're available both at YouTube and Spotify as podcast, so you can feel free to binge, play, and take us with you.
And if you're just tuning in today, we just have to alert you that Max has got he's unusually quiet because he lost his voice. I don't know.
Cetaceal laryngitis,
whatever it is. So he still wants to participate, Alan, and it's been a pretty brutal morning so far. He's participating using the latest technology of text to voice technology, and then using various hotkeys to express his emotions. I will say, I'll give him this: the robotic voice he chose is pretty good.
Yeah, it's very soothing.
Sounds better than ours.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow.
so if you hear random, input from Max, that's the way it's going to be. So
from RoboMax.
RoboMax today. So, and speaking of RoboMax, we still are keeping it out on the table. We've got it out there. If you go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, you'll find a little news article about a neurosurgeon living in Georgetown, in the Georgetown University area, the historic, very nice place, almost a $3.5 million townhome that he stuck 2 giant Transformer statues in front of, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, respectively. And the HOA board is demanding he takes them down. It's causing a big, it's causing a lot of issues, and it really, I still don't know where I fall on this. So I'd hate to see these statues are great pieces of art. So wherever they are, I hope they're going to be showcased. So.
I think they just need a home where they're truly welcome.
Right.
Because they are pretty awesome.
So, Alan, in this hour, too, in just a bit, we're going to get to our great moments in building history, which is pretty interesting because it's like it's one of those things, you mentioned it earlier, Alan. You said that sometimes people will look up at clouds and they say, hey, that cloud looks like a rabbit, or that cloud looks like a bicycle or something. Well, when everybody looks at the W Hotel in Edinburgh, everybody says it looks like the same thing. So I don't think this is one of those subjective things. It's pretty obvious what it looks like, so we'll get to that in a
Pareidolia is one of those fun things where you look at stuff and everybody agrees that the toast looks just like Mother Teresa, or it looks, just random things in the world that become a pattern that people see.
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah, so I can't wait to get to that. And you're the one that brought us that, Alan, because you have such an immature sense of humor. You had to drag me kicking and screaming to discuss that one.
Yeah, but, that took, 4 or 5 seconds in our exhaustive show prep?
Oh, yeah.
I think I said, Joe, I have a hotel for you to stay at.
I saw the picture, and I said, we're good.
Yep.
So Okay, well, Alan, let's shift gears. I got a quick. This is actually a listener recommendation I want to get to.
Hail science!
I'll be honest, we're throwing science at the wall here to see what sticks. No idea what it'll do. Probably nothing. Best case scenario, you might get some superpowers. Worst case, some tumors, which we'll cut out.
He's just somebody. Is there such a thing as hotkey addiction? Because Max has it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, is this even I don't know if this is a science
it's
recommendation.
definitely science. Go for it.
All right, well, I got a text from our dear listener, Robbie, who is a textbook listener. He listens every week. He sends recommendations. But the one thing I'll say for Robbie, pretty much all his recommendations they're interesting. It's not just one where you roll your eyes. These are actually things where I'm like, this is good content.
The guy is definitely in the business.
Okay, so he is in the business. He's a contractor like us, and I think he might have convinced me on this one. So he sent me this picture of I guess I got to find it and post it, but his wife had been nagging him for years to get these. They're basically prescription safety glasses.
Yes.
Because basically, I'll speak full disclosure, Alan. I wear glasses now. I didn't wear glasses till up in about 5 years ago. So when I needed safety glasses, I just grabbed the safety glasses from the big box store, threw them on, and
right.
Okay, well now, if I were to just grab those, I wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing because I need my glasses. And the glasses I have, I'm not doing the kind of work like where I might have a bolt snap and fly and hit me in the eye or something.
Right.
Mostly it's like a little sawdust or something. So I do wear regular glasses in place of safety glasses most of the time, but they do take a beating. I think the problem is you don't think about it, but I come home sometimes and my glasses are covered in sawdust, or they might even be like concrete dust, and you start wiping it, and now you're scratching the lens, or they fall off your head while you're doing it. And so I think this is a good idea. I mean, I hope they're easy to come by. I don't know.
Well, they're not difficult, and they're pretty mainstream, and there are also safety glasses to go over your glasses.
Oh, yeah, those are, I don't know.
You know what? If you got...
I don't want to look like a 90-year-old lady trying to, what... I've seen the ones you're talking about. But.
Joe, you don't look like a 90-year-old lady. You look like an 87-year-old guy. So... here's the thing.
Well, you don't wear glasses, so I don't know.
Oh, I actually prefer the over-the-glass safety glasses because they have a much wider grab and field in front of me.
Okay.
So I don't mind looking like an extra from a bad sci-fi movie.
Okay.
Because once something hits your eye and you get eye damage, you're done. You ain't got but two of them.
Right.
So you really need to be able to see to be safe.
I will preach this from the mountaintops, Alan. I don't care if you're just, I got one cut. I don't need safety glasses. Man, how many times has something hit your glass or, your safety glasses or whatever, and you're like, okay, if I didn't have these on, that was hitting my eye. And I should be, if I wasn't wearing safety glasses, I do believe at least one of my eyes would be gone, Alan, because I've had many occasions where, and it's always the most random thing. It's not the one where,
It's not when you think you're going to get whacked.
Right.
Is when you look up and something pings off the glasses.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm busting out a sidewalk with a sledgehammer, of course I've got safety because I know stuff's going to go flying, but it's that random one. It's like where you snap a board in half over your knee because whatever. So, I don't know. Wear your safety glasses, folks, and get prescription safety glasses if you need them.
Absolutely.
So, thanks for that recommendation, Robbie. That's a good one. All right, Alan, we got some good stuff coming up, including our great moments in building history. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here at News Talk 98.9 The Roar Memphis. We'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Alan.
There's something about an underdog that really inspires the unexceptional.
News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis.
I mean, that principle is what keeps us on the air, Alan. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Alan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And under normal conditions, you could watch the show on the Royal Retreat studio cam, but there's connection issues, so just listen to the show. It's radio, Alan. Let them listen.
That's right.
The good old fashioned audio
Old-fashioned
medium
style, right?
Also, we invite you to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and check out the action over there. The 3 posts, I must confess, Alan, I was really hoping some of our regular listeners, some new listeners, would have more opinions about these Transformer statues in particular. So we may have to revisit that next week once people have caught up and listened to. I feel like a lot of people probably sleep in. Didn't school just ended? They're like, okay.
Oh, yeah. It's the first good weekend of summer. Everybody's sound asleep.
People are traveling and all that. So, hey, Alan, in a minute, we're going to get to our great moments in building history. Before we do that, though, I want you to tell us about our new sponsors.
All right. Well, the Royal Retreat is an adult assisted living facility. It is at 6551 Knight Arnold Road. And if you have a need for this type service, you're in your family has reached that time and age group, this is a nice, really nice, well done facility. Beautiful gardens, nice clean rooms. Everything's very well taken care of. You can call Lana Candela over there at 901-563-2210. And I highly advocate go ask questions and take a tour.
Take the tour for sure.
Absolutely. Get in there and look around. And, if you have a loved one with this need, I think you will be very happy with what you see.
Every family is going to deal with this. And,
Absolutely.
And you know what? You may want to start thinking in terms for your own needs.
Get some ideas.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to get here ahead of the curve, and it's always good to plan ahead. So,
yes.
And, folks, Alan is he's somewhat of an authority in this matter because, we always talk about the different facilities that you're in charge of managing and that you're in charge of making sure it's updated and
right.
And up to code with the state. And so Alan knows his stuff with this. We don't just bring on anybody. Right,
no,
Alan?
we're very picky and choosy.
I want to say one other thing. I'm just putting it out there, Alan. I've been in recent weeks. We've been talking to various contractors because I think there's probably going to be a few other people jumping on board with Tool Talk Radio. And if that's the case, though, space is limited. Let's just say that. So if you're on the fence, get over here and get in touch with us. You can call me directly, 901-921-7105. All right, this is pretty cool stuff, Max. Hit it.
And now, great moments in building history.
All right, Alan. The title is very inauspicious. I mean, the name of this structure, and this is pretty much, I think it's fair to call it a brand new structure. I mean, it opened in 2021. I call that brand new.
I love it how a day unintentionally themes itself. And we're talking about the Transformers sitting out front and how things look. And I brought up the word pareidolia, which is when you look at something from one point of view or another, it may look one way.
Yeah.
But when you see it from another point of view or another vista, it can change.
Yeah, I'd say that's safe to say.
So let's go to Edinburgh, and let's go to a very upscale Marriott hotel. It is called the Ribbon Hotel, and it's part of the upscale W chain. And when you are looking at this in up close or in context of it looks like falling ribbon coming down. So this is a very expensive detail they added to the building.
Isn't this a place where they have a film festival or something? Because I thought it looked like film unrolling off of a... It looks cool.
There's
at the right angle.
Well, when you're standing there looking at it up close, it is absolutely architectural artwork.
They call it the golden ribbon, like a golden ribbon wrapping around the structure.
Coiled ribbons. It's supposed to be free-flowing. It's a really bold building construction. And they did tie the coloration and all of that into the Edinburgh skyline.
Yeah.
The problem is when you back up and you take a look at it.
Yeah.
Hey, that thing's called an elevator, not a bathroom.
That is random, but appropriate, actually, Max.
Well, 25 years ago, all you would have seen is coiled ribbons or film.
Yeah. Who owns the poop emoji, Alan? Is that a Apple because I feel like this could be monetized. But let's just put it out there, Alan. If you're looking at the skyline from a distance, that's what everybody is seeing.
You
and
just
the
can't
memes are
unsee
everywhere.
It. You just can't unsee it.
I'll tell you this. Okay. The thing is, I was looking at the skyline there, Alan, and we've talked about this. Okay, like the London skyline or
right.
any old skyline of a European city. They could have buildings there from the 1500s right next to something modern from 20 years ago. So the skyline of London, for example, is a mixed bag. You get the old and the new. However, the Edinburgh skyline, as far as I could see, looks pretty traditional. There's nothing weird, nothing modern, nothing, out of place. And then all of a sudden you have this. So I guess I do see the color works. The color fits in with the skyline.
They did
and I even think it looks good. But, did somebody not see this coming, Alan? I mean,
well, when you're sitting there looking at it on the table, when you're standing there and you're looking at things and you're focused on how are we going to build this? Where are we going to put the glass? How are we going to do the supports? You don't necessarily see it from somebody else's point of view.
I think they made. I want to mention one other thing because I don't think this was mentioned, but they're revitalizing an area. Basically, this is you could say it's almost like a mall. It's a shopping mall on either side, and it's so there's two buildings. In my opinion, that's what's problematic here. This building, the Golden Ribbon building hotel, is really cool looking, and from the ground. And even stepping back, the proportion of it doesn't look like the, emoji that we're talking about. It looks really artistic and interesting.
Yes.
The problem is because it's sandwiched next to these two buildings.
Yep.
For one thing, you don't get a good panoramic view of it. This, to me, seems like it should be a freestanding, out on its own, even maybe up on some sort of rise where you get a really good panoramic view of it. But the problem, I think, is just the location. I think they just, they didn't showcase it properly because it's.
I'm going to say that somebody didn't. It's one of these just running gags.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never seen or you don't use emojis a lot, you don't think about what the emojis look like.
Okay.
You're working on a building. You're doing drawings and schematics, and. It does indeed look like falling ribbon and all that. However, it's a swirled shape, and once you back up from it and somebody goes, oh my gosh, it looks like the poop emoji.
Yeah.
You just can't unsee it. Now your brain has just put it in.
Well, the thing is, here's what here's my, I can't remember who made the saying, but all press is good press. Somebody said that. So and this is a hotel that they're going to want to sell rooms. They want people to stay at this hotel.
Yes.
So is there a little bit of, did they do this on purpose? Think of this is getting worldwide publicity.
Oh, I promise you, Marriott did not do this on purpose.
However, how do you know? Everybody's going to want to stay at this place.
Well, now you've done it, so now you got to spin it. So now you got to deal with it because you're obviously not going to undo $40 million worth of construction.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Maybe it symbolizes Nessie's number 2.
Max, you gotta get a punch. For those who just tuned in, I should say Max lost his voice today, so he's typing in all these responses that are just wildly inappropriate. Max, we're classy here.
And here's your petition to go along with that, there, Max.
Okay.
The petition in Scottish says, "Pit googly eyes on the jobby."
On the jobby, yeah.
You're just kind of like, oh no, don't put giant googly eyes up there on the hotel.
Well,
so welcome to unexpected or unintended consequences or outcomes.
Yeah,
because 25 years ago, this emoji didn't exist. No one would have seen that.
No,
now it exists. And now you can't unsee it.
There's a lot of other interesting features about this hotel, and we want to showcase those as well, but let's face it,
we had to start there.
We're going to start there. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here at News Talk 98.9 The Roar Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allen.
What kind of place is this?
News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis.
I mean, some questions are better left unanswered, Alan. I'm not even going to attempt that one. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Alan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass, who lost his voice and is communicating to us via text, voice-to-text message.
Just pretend like we're talking until the cops leave.
Yeah, and strategically placed hotkeys, which Max, I'd give you about a 6 out of 10 rating on your hotkey choices. So, but he loves pushing buttons. He has an addiction. So, if you want to communicate with Max today via, this method, feel free to weigh in. But if the show sounds weird, that's what it is. We blame Max. So
yeah, we always blame Max.
But you can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And we also want to thank our friends at the Royal Retreat Studio Cams. Unfortunately, they're offline at the moment. So this week you can listen to the show
by popular demand. Yes.
Yeah, maybe somebody sabotaged these things. But. Also, after you visited the News Talk 98.9, the Roar Facebook page, we also invite you to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, check out all the action over there, which is finally, I guess a few people woke up, Alan. We've posted a few posts, and Barbara wants to weigh in on the Transformer statues that were put in front of that expensive Georgetown home. Barbara says they may be cool pieces of art, but they definitely need to be placed somewhere else. Don't move into historic districts with an HOA if you cannot become a conformist. So I don't know. Part of me bristles at that because I like to think I'm a nonconformist, but I think she's probably got a point. The question is, Barbara, is there enough rules in the bylaws that stipulate that you can't put a giant Transformer statue in your
There
front yard?
are in Georgetown.
Are there? Did they get specific? Because this doctor might have found a loophole or something.
No, because he managed to duck putting in the permits, and thus he just went ahead and did it, and he's trying to get forgiveness instead of permission.
Our friend Angel weighed in. She said, those are cool. I have mixed opinions about them. I agree that they don't fit with the neighborhood, but those are cool. In all capital letters. I mean, if they can't even persuade Angel, because Angel's a hardcore geek, I would have thought she would be 100% on this guy's side. So it's a dicey situation. I'm all about celebrating art and unique points of view, but I don't even know where I land on this one. This is going to be an ongoing discussion.
Oh, yeah.
But thanks for weighing in over at the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, and there's still time to chime in if you've got thoughts about our other conversations. In a minute, Alan, we're going to get back to our great moments in building history, which we'll get back to it. Yeah. So, but before we do that, I want to, you know who I wish was on the show with us today is our good buddy Jay Hill from Big M Roofing and Remodeling, because like I said, that guy has no geek blood within him.
None.
And so I would love to know where he lands with these Transformer statues or the discussion we're having with our great moments in building history. But all of that aside, if you've got any roofing issues, or if you're concerned about the exterior protection of your home, such as gutters, such as siding and windows, from top to bottom, the roof, siding, gutters, and windows, that is Jay Hill's wheelhouse. That's what he does. And nobody does it better, Alan. He is a 5 stars with the Better Business Bureau. He's a GAF Master Elite Installer. And if you don't know what GAF is, it is the premium roofing technology. And I call it technology. People might think, well, it's a shingle. No, they make roofing systems. These are very well thought out, and they don't make roofing, it used to be, Alan, if you could get 10 years out of your roof, you were happy. These roofs now are roofing systems that actually make your roof run cooler, and they have lifetime transferable warranties. So if you get one of these GAF roofs, it comes with a lifetime transferable warranty, and that shows the quality that Jay deals with. Also, Jay is a former insurance agent, and roofing situations are very dicey because you may actually have a situation where your homeowner's insurance is going to cover the replacement of your roof or a portion of it. And that process is not easy to navigate. Jay helped you and I navigate that. Both of us have had our roofs replaced that way. And in fact, our buddy Robbie had his roof replaced. We've several other people that we've recommended, and that is an important That's a great feature that Jay Hill offers, being a former insurance agent. Also, if you need to finance, he has 30 lenders at his disposal, and financing is a piece of cake these days. You literally pull it up on the phone, you apply, and you can get qualified within about 2 minutes. It's a pretty straightforward operation there. But Jay, like we said, from top to bottom, roofing, siding, windows, and gutters, they all work together in a system. So if you want that peace of mind and protection for the outside of your home, there's nobody better to call than Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. You can call him directly at 901-484-5645, and that is his direct number. And we always insist, call them at inappropriate times. Call them on holidays. Call them during a football game. Call them at 3 a.m. just for kicks and see what happens.
Yeah.
You can also visit his website, bigmroofingandremodeling.com. We love you, Jay. Just kidding, man. So, all right, Alan, before the break, we've been talking in our great moments in building history, the W Hotel, otherwise known as the Golden Ribbon Hotel, otherwise known as the Poop Emoji Hotel in Edinburgh, Scotland, which, okay, let's just be fair, Alan. This is a cool-looking building.
It is.
I have no objection. I think it looks great. My big issue is if you look at this building, folks, it's sandwiched. I'm saying it is sandwiched in between two existing buildings that served as a shopping mall, which they've renovated the shopping mall as well. We're going to mention that in a minute. But, Alan, I think the whole problem with this is a choice of location, but this is an area that they're trying to revitalize, and they put this really beautiful hotel, and I feel like they compromised because, as we said, if this hotel was out in the open and maybe even on an elevation, nobody would be looking at it the way they are now, because it almost looks like an upside down tornado or something. It's cool. It's a cool building. I do like it, but
it is. But again, we like patterns, and just the way it is showcased against the skyline.
Yeah.
Once somebody says it, you can't unsee it. So now here's the thing. It's sitting on top of a 1.7 million square foot development.
Right.
1.7 million square feet.
Yeah, it's lots of space.
That is not a small place. This is absolutely monstrous.
They want this to be the go-to place. Like if you're visiting town, you got to go over here. So,
well, they're planning on about 350 luxury townhomes, apartments, whatever you want to call it. They're looking for about 30 different restaurants. That is a lot of food.
Yeah. There's a Gordon Ramsay restaurant open now. You know probably about him. I don't know. I know the name, but I honestly don't know whether that means the food's good or not. But
it means there's a lot of screaming in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He used to be the host of Hell's Kitchen.
Right. Well, yes. I just didn't know what that meant quality-wise, but he's got a place
He has
there.
very high standards, so I would expect nothing but the best in his restaurant.
Cool.
Of course, they got a movie theater and all that because there's a lot of festivals that go on in Edinburgh. And they were really trying to build something to really capitalize and revitalize that whole area down there.
We should say, Alan, I think we glossed over something. Because the confusion, and I was confused with this till I researched it more. Like we say, it's supposed to look like, to me, it almost looks like if you were to take a spool of film, like and you were to pull it from the middle on the inside, it would almost, like we said, almost form like an upside down tornado or something.
Right.
Well, that's what it looks like to me, but apparently what they were going for, they wanted it to look like unspooling paper or something, which...
Yeah, coiled ribbons.
I don't quite get that. I don't know if I see that. I do see it looking... And plus the color is almost the color of film.
Right.
So I don't know. I think they kind of swung and missed on that one. I don't know.
Well, the problem is they made 5 turns.
What do you mean?
All right, well... Again, the human mind loves patterns.
Okay.
So they make that basically it has 5 curls in it that goes to the top. Guess how many curls are in the emoji?
Yeah, you just can't let go of that
5.
emoji.
So,
okay.
Well, but this is how people see things. So it's
But the whole building, that's the top of the building, like we're saying.
Right, but this is not just the whole facility. When you walk up to this thing, you're looking at not only a luxury hotel, but you're looking at a massive shopping area, downtown shopping area that was designed to basically fit in but yet also add a bold new element to the skyline. So the skyline idea, maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. We'll see what the meh emoji has to say
cool,
about
though.
it.
It does stand out. It's like the way the Ferris wheel stands out in the London skyline. Like, you have all these buildings, all of a sudden you have this giant Ferris wheel.
Well,
it's kind of
look at
that
it this
same
way.
effect.
Everybody's going to know what building you're talking about and where you want to go.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, and let's face it, all these internet influencers, they're going to go stay there so they can take their pictures in front of it and all that. That's why I say I think there was some people that were like, hey, we're going to run with this. Because we're going to get worldwide publicity.
Well,
we'll never have an empty room here.
Well, it's like the Godzilla Hotel. Would you stay there? Absolutely. Why? Because you stayed at the Godzilla Hotel one day.
People will stay in an ice hotel where it's
People will stay
20 below
in a
zero
20
in the
below
bathroom,
zero restaurant and hotel. Yes.
All right. So it's what I'm amazed by is, like we said, the skyline is very traditional, very classic. There's nothing weird until you hit this. So I don't, we talk about HOAs. How the heck did this get past the city planners? Because did somebody get paid off?
There was years and years and years of this before it got approved.
And I know you Scots, Alan, because you're a Scotsman.
Yes,
and they can be very stubborn, and they could
a few times removed, but yes.
Yeah. So the other thing that's sort of a swing and a miss here, Alan, is this is a beautiful shopping mall. However, it's exposed to the elements, and they said it creates almost like a wind tunnel. So you got these high-end luxury, shops where you basically have to bring an umbrella and a parka just to go through there. So I think they're going to need to do something about that, like enclose
there will be some tweaks as time goes on.
Yeah,
so.
But it's still an interesting project, and I think we'll have a few parting thoughts about that when we come back. But very interesting, and we always showcase that here on Tool Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allen. News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
I don't know what I just heard, Alan, but it sounds like your typical job site.
I was about to say, I think I was just there.
Yeah, that's how Alan reprimands the unruly employees. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor Samwer Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Alan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal, the muted Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, like Agent 732 just did. He said, I just woke up. Did I miss anything? Yeah, Alan, for us to summarize would eat up the rest of the show. You did, Agent 732, and it's to your own peril.
Let's sum up. No.
Just go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, and you'll get a glimpse of what's been discussed. So, we have no time to recap that whole thing. Also, on a normal day, we would want to thank our good friends at the Royal Retreat for the Royal Retreat studio cams. But they're down today, Alan. Sorry.
So the public may wish to thank them.
Yeah, the public can thank them, but we thank them. But next week, I have a feeling they'll be back up. It's just some signal issue. You never know. Technology is a little.
Somebody next door could have put up a better antenna. Who knows?
Maybe our competition is out there sabotaging us, Alan. You can go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page afterwards, and we suggest that you do because there's some interesting stuff up there. And but Alan, before the break, we were discussing. I think we better wrap this up. We were discussing the W Hotel in Edinburgh, Scotland, also known as the Golden Ribbon Hotel. It is basically it's cool. It's a cool hotel, and I even think the top of it looks cool. It unfortunately looks a lot like the poop emoji on your smartphone and everything, which is why it's gotten such worldwide attention. But to me, the big failure is just the location. I think if they would have placed it in the right area where you could see the full hotel, you wouldn't see it the same way. It would just, to me, like I said, it almost looks like a swirling upside down tornado. I wonder, okay, Alan, we're always talking about using nature and using wind. There is a lot of wind over there. I'm wondering how a spiral design could be used to, like, I'm just looking at the way it spirals, how you could maybe relieve stresses on the building, or maybe capture moving air to to cool things. I don't know. I feel like there's probably design elements that might actually work to your advantage or maybe your disadvantage. I don't know.
Well, I know the city of Dallas accidentally created basically mountainous canyons between the buildings. They didn't really mean to, but during certain times of the year, the winds come across Texas,
right,
and would go tearing through downtown Dallas and would begin picking up speed like they would through canyons out in the mountains.
Sure.
So
you walk out of the store and suddenly your whole bag got swept away.
You could get slapped with about a 60-mile-an-hour wind. Yeah.
Right.
So of unintended consequences. So they do have a couple of tweaks to work on this. I am positive they will get on it because they've already spent $800 million on this.
Yeah.
And I think once they're done, it'll settle into the countryside and it will have a derogatory nickname for a while. But I think once they, have a few festivals there and everybody has a good time and the food's good. And the times are good. It'll settle in.
It's nothing that's going to hurt it. I mean, like I said, it's really just free advertising. So I still think there's somebody behind the scenes that's like, no, we're playing this up. We're going to get the most out of it.
If it's what you got, you might as well own it.
It's just like how everybody goes to the. I got to be careful how I word this, but you know how everybody goes to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and they do those photos where you step back and with the perspective, it looks like you're pushing against the Leaning Tower to hold it up. Well.
Right.
I wonder what perspective shots we're going to get with this one.
Well, you already know. You already know.
Okay, let's move it along. Hey, Allan, we failed to miss. I blame Max. He failed to mention something.
Oh.
And we're gonna shift gears. I guess if anybody's got anything else to say about this, send us a message.
Absolutely.
And we'll chime in next week. But Allan, you told us something because Max always likes to kick off the show, letting us know what special holiday this could be, an obscure one. Well, today is National Bedbug Prevention Day.
Yes.
Well, I think that's pretty important, especially in home improvement, because bedbugs. Now, I got to be honest. I've been fortunate in my life to never have an issue with those, but it's not just your bed, right? I mean, any cushion there. Could it be in your couch? Could it be in
wicker furniture?
I feel like we should talk about this a little bit.
Wicker furniture. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Bed bugs were one of those things that we kind of lived with for tens of thousands of years.
Right.
And a bed bug is a little beetle-looking thing like you'd see on a squash plant somewhere, except these little guys like to live with us, and they like to drink our blood.
Now, when they say they live in a bed, Allan, what part of are these like in the foam of the mat? I guess I'm wondering where they
they're big enough to see. They're bigger than a tick.
Okay.
I mean, so the adult ones are. And where they like to get is dark, warm, dry places like, when a lot of mattresses have the decorative curls on them. They like to get up in the little folds of the material. They like to get into the bed skirts and stuff like that. And during the middle of the night while you're sound asleep, you are a provided buffet.
I was going to say you're a source of warmth, so they're going to gravitate towards
your dinner.
You and the sheets.
Yeah, your dinner.
So that's what it is. So people get bites and everything.
You will get, bed bugs. Bed bugs are now kind of a serious issue, especially for hotels and a lot of medical facilities that have overnight stays. Because, nobody wants to get bitten by a bug while you're trying to sleep. And a bed bug infestation is kind of actually hard to get rid of.
I don't doubt, because I'm thinking it's not just the mattress. They can
get all through your house. The worst one I ever saw was wicker furniture.
Huh. Now, I wouldn't have thought of wicker. Because they have cushions on them and stuff?
No, because of all the little cracks and crevices and spaces where things could get in and hide. And we fumigated a wicker chair one time and gassed out and killed over 100 bed bugs.
Okay, but Allan, see, here's the thing, because we probably should, this is probably an important point to put out there. Okay, sure, you could blast your house with deadly chemicals, but then you've got to live in there. So what is the most practical, short of throwing your mattress out, I guess if it's bad, you probably do have to throw it out, right?
Sometimes. There are a number of there are a number of products available today to control or get rid of bed bugs.
Okay.
And I highly advocate read the instructions and apply properly. You do not want these critters to come home with you from a vacation. You don't want them to get shipped to you by a well-meaning relative. Here's the quilt we've had on the bed for 40 years. And this is what happens. And these guys are tough, they're durable, and they will survive getting shipped somewhere.
You know what? That's a good tip. I would have never thought of that till you mentioned it, but maybe it's a good tip that if you travel anywhere, especially a place maybe you're not super familiar with, if you bring home any fabric material, maybe wrap it really tight in plastic so that, for one thing, and then get it home and wash it. Wash
everything you come home with immediately.
Okay.
Make sure you take care of that. Bed bugs are... happily, they don't really spread disease, but they are an annoyance.
Well, who wants to get bit in the middle of the night?
Yeah, nobody wants these things. So it is it's not a popular topic, but it's a serious topic.
Can you suffocate them? Like if you were to wrap your mattress in just like in a airtight plastic and leave it for like a week, would they? I don't know.
Oh, they'd still be waving at you. Oh, yeah.
So they don't need to breathe, or they could...
Well, there's enough air in a mattress for a tiny little insect to live on for years.
What if you vacuum seal? Like, you know how they have the vacuum thing?
Right.
You reverse
I don't think
it?
you want to lay on a brick. It's a vacuum-sealed mattress would suck all the air out.
No,
suck
I'm
out
saying
all the comfort.
you temporarily, you go pull the air mattress out of your closet. I guess I'm trying to think of ways to outsmart these guys.
Generally, what you're going to use is a pyrethrin product that will get rid of them for you.
Okay. Well, use it. That sounds...
Again, a pyrethrin's a natural chemical. It's not going to hurt you, but that's why I say get the proper product and follow the instructions.
All right. What a weird show today, Alan. I mean, my gosh. So, but I mean, hey, we react to the new when it's a National Bedbug Prevention Day. Of course, we're going to mention that.
It's actually a bigger topic than you think.
Of all the idiots, in all the idiot villages, in all the idiot worlds, you stand alone.
Thanks, Max. I hope he gets his voice back next week. He's just weird.
He needs to quit kissing seals. That's what he needs to do. So.
Well, it is what it is, and it's over, Alan. Another weird episode of Tool Talk Radio is in the can. So on behalf of my buddy Alan Gilbreth and the muted Max behind the glass, I'm Joe Thorderson. Thanks for listening to Tool Talk Radio, and we'll see you next week.